Yeah, so what? It's your boy, Bits and Bobs,
And it's your girl, Lambs.
bringing you another episode of Don't Piss Me Off. Lambs, how you doing? You all right?
Yeah, not too bad, not too bad. It's been a busy week, but a productive week. So that's what we like to hear. And I know I've been like terrible for like missing recording last week, but forgive me. But it just means we've got more to talk about this week. So
Exactly. But listen, before we do that, I think you should tell the viewers and whoever watches this back, about some news about you joining a certain podcast, a certain
oh
YouTube channel.
yeah, that's correct. So as well as your boy Bits and Bobs, you can find him on the Football Terrace. You
Come
can
on, come
also
on,
find me, Football Terrace,
come
on
on.
the Midnight Vibes show at on Wednesday and on Sundays with KJ, Rowan, and all the rest. Sorry, KJ, Kendall, and all the rest.
Oh no, that's good. Good, congratulations. And it's good to see people elevate, and also it's good to see a friend elevate. So I'm happy with that. Lambs, you still there? Lambs, is she still there?
Oh
You
yeah,
there?
sorry, I think my internet just cut out for like a second.
It's okay. It's all good. It's all good. It's all good. Yeah, Lambs. So listen, we've got to touch on it, okay? Because it's just recent. Anton Ferdinand, the documentary. What was your intake? What did you get? Lambs, are you there? Okay, I think she's having some technical difficulties. So, guys, Anton Ferdinand's documentary regarding obviously the incident, the famous incident in 2011 regarding John Terry QPR against Chelsea.
Are we back?
You back, Lambs? You back?
I think so. Okay, I'm back for good, I think. Okay, because I've switched
Okay.
the internet. I'm connected.
Well,
So
well,
this one should stay.
No, so basically, look, I was just saying there while you're having technical difficulties that 2011, 9 years ago, Anton Ferdinand, player at the time of QPR, was racially abused. I don't care what anyone says. Proof's in the pudding. By then John Terry, England captain of Chelsea Football Club, captain of a football club that you support.
So this is a case that is obviously quite personal to me. Me being a Chelsea fan, me growing up supporting, loving Chelsea, seeing us like win trophies, success, and all of that for the first time in a very long time. And obviously, he was a big part of that because he was our centre back, he was our captain at the time. And while he did give us some great defensive performances, since this incident, I've never really been able to look at him the same way. And since then, my respect for him has dropped, and I've never ever regained it back, to be honest. Like, obviously as a fan, like I do go to Stamford Bridge and watch some games and stuff sometimes. And our fans usually have this banner that they unfurl, and it says JT, captain, legend, or sorry, JT something, captain, legend, or whatever. And in my mind, I'm just thinking, not my captain, not my legend, because there's absolutely no denying what happened. And a lot of the times my friends like to say, oh, but your captain was a racist. And I can't argue with them. I'm just like, you're right, he's not my captain. And I lost respect for him. And what's worse is I guess you've probably had a look at Anton Ferdinand's documentary recently.
Yeah, I watched it. Yeah.
Fantastic documentary. And what I really appreciated was him reaching out to Jonathan Lecco and just basically having that conversation where they both understand what it's like to be on the end of that kind of racial abuse, because he felt the exact same way that he did. And you could
100%.
see the pain in which it was really hard for him to like discuss that whole John Terry incident. And I feel like he was he was almost being like muted and silenced to speak on that matter, because we do know, unfortunately and unjustly, John Terry was found not guilty of using the racist language in court, basically saying that the statement for the reasons was that there was a lack of evidence to prove beyond a reasonable doubt. Though I don't understand how there's a lack of evidence, because there's cameras there that record these players. Yeah, so there's cameras there that record these players.
Lambs,
Yeah,
are you still there?
so you can see what they're saying. So
Lambs.
to be fair,
Lambs, I think your internet's cutting out.
the internet is
It's moving bookie. Listen, go out and come back in.
I don't know what.
Go out and come back in. Go out and come back in. At least he's frozen on a smile. Guys, so obviously what Lambs was saying was that obviously the humility of him to be able to there we go. So remove that there. Let's see. Here.
Am I
Hello.
back now?
Yeah, you're back. Okay. Take charge. Let's go.
Okay, yeah. So before I cut out, I was basically just speaking about how he got found not guilty for that and the reasons for that was lack of evidence to prove beyond a reasonable doubt. When there's cameras everywhere, you can clearly see what he's saying. We lip read and stuff. There was an incident, I think 2 years ago as well, during the Chelsea and Manchester City game, where a Chelsea fan was hurling racist abuse at when he was taken. And you could clearly see, because of the cameras, we can lip read exactly what he said to him, right? Mm-hmm. And this is a fan that was later apprehended and banned for life. Okay, so this fan suffered the consequences of his actions, and quite rightly so. But John Terry, because he's John Terry and because of who he is, again, like you said, England captain at the time as well, Chelsea captain at the time as well. So it was very much, can we drag this guy? Can we punish him for something, even though he is clearly guilty, but because of who he is, he's going to escape that justice, and he did escape that justice. And my heart really does go out to Anton Ferdinand, because you can see that he didn't deserve that. And it's really sad that almost 10 years to the day now, this guy, he still hasn't received justice for this crime, basically.
I'm shaking my head because, I mean, I was fuming when I watched it, but then, I thought to myself, why am I angry when this is no shock? Do you know what I'm trying to say to you? The fact that everyone could see what he said. Every Tom, Dick, and Mohammed could see what he said. Okay, every lip reader, not anyone, right? And for me, it's the language. I mean, you speak about this all the time. Even when he was listening to John Terry's interview, it said something like, "You pushed John, and John shoved you back." John, and it was just like, wait a minute. So how does one push someone and then you shove them back? No, you push them back. Or just some of the languages that they were used in the newspaper, Captain JT. And do you know what was sad for me? When they showed the court and we saw Chelsea fans turn up, I'm like, this is not a player unveiling, mate. This is like a criminal situation here. And obviously, do you know, we talk about it all the time. And, I want people that watch this or watch it back to remember that, it's okay you can make a mistake, okay? We all know, people make mistakes. To be racist in that manner, as in screaming on a football pitch, you, black, CUNT, at his age, the stature of the man, he knows right from wrong. Let's not sugarcoat this. This is Don't Piss Me Off. We're not trying to sugarcoat anything. We're giving you facts, okay? He said what he said. Knowing damn well nothing was going to happen to him.
That's what gave him the confidence to be able to say that, because of who he was, the position he's in. And it's that sense of entitlement. Like, he actually got it. He actually got the chance again to give an interview, to clear his name. And you can even relate this back to the whole Harry Maguire incident, what he allegedly said to the police in Greece, basically like, oh, do you know who I am? I'm the Manchester United captain. Do you know what I mean? Like, using those titles, it's using those labels, that clout, to understand that, okay, because of who you are, because of your gender, because of your race as well, you can get away with this stuff. Like, you don't have to face the consequences for your actions, basically. Whereas anybody else, especially if you're black, probably will suffer the consequences. But because,
and let's be honest, Lambs, Anton did suffer the consequence, and he was the victim. Do you know what I'm trying to say?
And they've painted him as the perpetrator, which is, in my opinion, just pure classical gaslighting by the British media once again. And it really, really annoyed me, because you could see like Rio Ferdinand like really sticking up for his brother and really, really pushing this agenda that this guy messed up. He needs to be punished. And still, he's not been punished. Still, it's basically like, hush, hush, okay, like, look, yeah, we know Rio, we know Anton, but listen, we can't really touch him, can we? And that's not what it should be like. It should, like, nobody is untouchable. Like, nobody is safe. Everybody can get caught in the crossfire if you mess up. If you do something wrong, be prepared to face the consequences. You know, you're a grown person, you're educated, you should know what is right and what is wrong. And obviously, you know, we've had the whole kick it out campaign in football.
That's nonsense.
From the beginning of time. So okay, but even if he was, you know, quote unquote willfully ignorant before, once you start having like these campaigns and like the FAs coming in and giving like workshops and talks about ending racism in football, you're listening to this, you're taking this all in, you understand that racial abuse, discrimination is not okay between your teammates or between opposition teams as well. It's not okay. Exactly. That's why, you know, you have the say no to racism, all of those campaigns that football, the FA have done over the years. So John Terry, especially being who he is, the age that he was at as well, you can't say he's like a young boy, he doesn't know any better. He was a grown ass man. He should know better. You don't get given the England captaincy responsibility. You don't get given the Chelsea captaincy responsibility for no reason. It means you are a role model. But this is not the type of behavior that role models should be exhibiting. Henceforth, the correct action of justification dropped from the England squad, or at least the captaincy dropped, and he'd be suspended for amount of time. Same thing for Chelsea, and he'd be suspended for amount of time. And he has to pay a fine, like do a prison sentence, probation, something. But something has to go on his record to say that he did commit this crime. Yeah. And he was guilty of it.
No, yeah. And do you know what I want? I want a ban, right? I want a ban where, and I hope this gets cut up, and I don't care if people say I'm crazy. If you miss a drugs test, you get banned for 9 months or a year. Is it a year? I believe it was. Rio got banned. Is it a year?
It went from 9 months to a year, I think.
Yeah, right. Okay, so if you miss a drugs test, you could be banned for a season. Okay, if you gamble, you could be banned for a season. However, if I make a derogative racial discrimination comment, I get a fine, probably a week's wages, 2 weeks' wages, 2 games. Now, that's what's wrong with the message. Okay? We have to give it zero tolerance. We have to say, okay, you did say that. Do you know what? For the next 6 months, you are banned from playing football. What? This is how we take it seriously. So for future reference, if you don't want to miss 6 months of football, you won't talk like that. If you think it, you can do what you want. Keep it in there. Don't come out with it. And then also, I've said this before, and I'm going to say it again, just to conclude on Anton. There is no point kneeling before the referee blows his whistle. There is no point wearing these T-shirts. There is no point doing these adverts, having all these different players, blah, blah, blah. Forget that, okay? Clip this up, people. I'm so passionate about this. The money that the FA have, okay, the money they get for sponsors, take some of that away, getting people who can train and educate football players. Enroll a new position at clubs that where this has to be taught once a week or
Like
once every 2 weeks. Mandatory, yes, because we have to represent society in way of behavior, code of conduct, verbally, physically. Okay, and for me, there's no point me coming in and playing for a certain club called Man United, and I'm a foreigner. This is how we're going to segue into Cavani here, and saying something that in my country probably isn't racial, but in this country it is. This is where these people come in and say, look, before we screen you, before you come in here, you need to be updated on the do's and the don'ts and the illegals and legal and the ones you just don't do. Educate them. Why? Because people want to know why. When you educate people, you go, why? Well, this is why. Actually, in this country, to use such word like that is reference to a derogative manner to the black community. Therefore, we do not use this. To go there in more detail, we can talk about slavery. We can talk about John Barnes. We can talk about Ian Wright. We can talk about John Fashanu. We can go on to say that, get these players, get John Barnes and get John Fashanu to teach these academies, these clubs on this code of conduct. And listen, let's segue into Cavani. Look, it's probably, do you know what the whole Cavani situation just reminds me of? Society right now.
Yeah.
You can be a football player, have the best 45 minutes ever. Okay? One simple thing on social media can ruin you. Shout out man like Connor. Shout out Prime. Right? So Cavani comes on for 45 minutes, has a great game, great cameo, scores 2, sit-ups 1. Perfect. Done your job, celebrate. Okay. Now, he said Negrito. Okay? Which refers to little black man, I believe. So, you can't say that. I don't care. You can't say that. Okay? Is it his fault? Yes, because he still said it. Is it Man United's fault? Yes, because they have not educated him and they failed him. And is it the country's fault? And when I say the country, I mean FA. I mean, yeah, because you don't have policies, structures, programs in place. Now, check this out, okay? If I went to India or Pakistan or Southeast Asia or Germany or Poland or wherever, I know I have to talk different to be understood over there, okay? I know I'd have to be respectful wherever I go, okay?
Like there's certain things that you don't mention due to the sensitivity.
Yes, exactly.
So, for example, in India, sorry.
Go.
Like you said, the passion's coming out.
Yeah, exactly. That's what I want to see.
Yeah, so in India, you wouldn't go there and start eating beef burgers or like disrespecting like cows or sacred animals that they look to as like sacred, because that's just so offensive. Like that's like a religiously offensive to them as well. You wouldn't go over to Germany and start mentioning like Nazis and the Holocaust and stuff, because that's another sensitive part of their history as well. And vice versa. Like it works both ways, like slavery in America, colonization in Africa, and even parts of Asia as well. Actually, colonization across America, South America,
Africa, thank you,
and parts of Europe. We all know like this country was heavily involved in colonization, and that's why English is such a universally spoken language. For that reason, colonization.
And see what you're saying there, okay? He was in France, okay? That had heavily
about France as a country.
Do you know what I'm trying to say to you? There's a heavy black population there. Muslim religion as well. You've got Algeria, you've got Morocco, Senegal, Guinea, all these places where people have came to live in France. And for me, it's just like
Cameroon or the French-speaking African countries.
Exactly, Senegal and so on. So I'm like, okay, Edison, I'm thinking, you know what this means. He's like, yeah, but I didn't mean intent. It doesn't matter intent. You know, you could say, oh, that's my black friend, bits and bobs. No.
Mm.
Do you know what I'm trying to say to you? No, that
Yeah.
doesn't. We don't do that. We don't do that. And you know, for me, it's in a way, I'm kind of glad it happened because it highlights the faults in the FA and it highlights the faults in these clubs, these football clubs, because he wasn't he wasn't. Can you hear me? Okay,
Yeah.
no. Yeah. No, I'm just saying, you take the lead with this. I'm going to take my mic off, okay? But I'm going to be able to still speak.
Right.
So can you still hear me, guys? Yeah. So basically, what they've done, they've showed. In a way, I'm glad it happened because if he didn't do that, you know, we'd just be going on as normal. Dad. Yes, that's Auntie Lambs, and we're going to let Lambs carry on.
Yeah, me. Bless him. So yeah, pretty much. If he, because of this whole incident, obviously, you know, it wasn't done with like malicious intent. It was he was basically saying, you know, like, oh, like, you know, thanks, like the same way say a British person or an American person, like, my N-word, like my this, my, you know, that kind of way. That's obviously the way in which he meant it. But because of who he is and understanding that certain people from certain races can't use certain languages, certain because of the derogatory term it comes across as, basically, especially if you're not somebody that comes from that race, you don't identify with that race, you don't understand what that race of people have gone through, what their history represents. It's very insensitive for them to use the derogatory language like that. So for that reason, I do understand why he's under a lot of fire at the moment. But again, the club, the FA, the Premier League, and again, especially when you're doing this with international players who are coming from other places, like you said, Edinson Cavani's been playing for Paris Saint-Germain in France for how long? How many years? So what they've normalized as so obviously we know France is very famous for their racist reputation and how disgusting they are to the black and ethnic minority population that lives in their country. So they have no qualms whatsoever about using derogatory terms, racial slurs in everyday conversation to refer to black people from ethnic minorities. I mean, we've already seen even recently in the news some of the unrest that's going on, the police brutality, how they treat black people there. It's absolutely disgusting. So we know that France have a history of being racist. So because of this, and now it's a little bit unfortunate because there is an investigation into this now, and I think he could end up having a 3-match ban.
Yeah, a 3-match ban, Lambs. And you know, the funny thing is that he should be banned, yes. But as well as being banned, he should be educated to say, so he understands why. It's like, for example, when you have a son, for example, and he writes on the wall, the marker, with a marking pen, and you say to him, you don't do that. Don't just punish them. Make them understand why it's not right to do what they've done. And for me, personally, with Cavani, it also illustrates the fact that, like, the UK are a bubble compared to all these other countries. You know, the UK, we say that all globally around the world, we should be doing this, we should be doing that. Fix your own household.
100%. So you can also say, okay, he first of all, he's 33 years old, so he's not young and dumb and stupid. He should be aware. He should know better. And again, you could say it's society and stuff like that which have kind of educated him and molded his brain in this way where he thinks it's okay to say things like this. So then again, you can also argue that the club, Manchester United, the staff and whoever he had helping him in his transition into this new country country, this new setting, new people, should have educated him. Okay, living here, there's a huge Asian community, for example. There's quite a huge Black community. There's quite a huge say Caribbean community over here and stuff like that. So, we have in our fan base, we have quite a lot of ethnic minority fans. There's quite a lot of Black fans, quite a lot of Asian fans. So using certain language, so if you say this word, it can be considered offensive to this group. It can be considered offensive to this group. If
exactly.
So like you said, that crash course, that workshop, that mandatory workshop that I feel like every player, especially international players who, haven't been around the scene in the UK and they don't really kind of understand how it works, they should undergo this mandatory like workshop. I suppose, this can call it a workshop, really and truly. Like, it can only be like a day or two or whatever. And as soon as they're done, they sign a contract, they get a certificate over to say, okay, they've completed it, they understand the rules, anything they may say,
exactly.
they are liable because we've already told them that they can't do this. So if they do, then they should be prepared to face the consequences for it.
Amen to that.
I'm a bit in two minds about this situation because I know he's not a racist. Like, I know it wasn't meant with malicious intent. It's almost like when you have that white friend who's literally like got like mainly Black friends or friends from ethnic minorities. So because he's around them, listening to them, calling each other like maitin, and they're very comfortable using that because they come from the same ethnic minorities. So they understand the way associated with that. They too then feel like they can get comfortable and say the word. Which is
I agree with you on that, right? And I also have a combat that we need to stop using that word.
Yes.
Okay? We need to stop using that word.
You notice, like, I've never ever said it. I've just said the N word.
Yeah, 100%.
I hate it when people say, even when people like to me, like, mightn't, or I'm just like,
Yeah, I don't want to hear it because, obviously living in Scotland, you can imagine when N in Paris comes on and then you see people and you're like, oh, here goes. Can't just wait. So, I mean, we need to, like, let's not segue too much from Cavani, but, like, what we're trying to say, guys, is that he should be banned, yes, because at the end of the day, according to the letter of the law, he's broke it and he's, technically you could say it's criminal, might be a stretch, could be reaching. However,
at the end of the day, it's like you said, like, it's the rules, it's derogatory, and he should be banned purely for the reason that, like you said, people should they should reap the consequences for their actions. Like, the message needs to be clear. Like, even if you didn't mean to say it or you thought it was okay, you're being punished. So you now understand in the future, and also to send a clear message to other footballers in your position as well, that if they feel to like make a post or say a comment or something like this, all in banter, it's not all in banter actually, and there will be repercussions should they choose to follow that route. So I do agree with the whole message and narrative that it portrays, and we know now for a fact that he will never ever say this ever again.
Exactly, and that's what we want. We want to eradicate this nonsense, this poison. And I think I can't help but not touch on the one little thing regarding a certain club in Merseyside with some of their fans, not all of them, some of them, because I'm likely to. One of my best friends is a Liverpool fan, Mike, and I've got to know Stroll a little bit, so to Stroll and Mike, I got to them. Yeah, and it's the context, and I've seen a few tweets saying that, like, oh, Cavani needs to get the same treatment as Suarez. No, that's when I start seeing stuff like that. I start to say, as I say to you all the time, I'm not going to waste energy on you.
Somebody, like, he actually bit somebody.
Suarez was like that, grabbing Evra. I'm not talking to you because you're. Do you know what I mean? And we just need to remember that, like, guys, don't be ignorant. Come on. Like, listen, Twitter is bants and Twitter is sometimes out of context. People use fake names, people use it to let off steam. I get that, but listen.
You have to be respectful.
Let's be respectful. Let's acknowledge the situation. Let's be honest here. Do you know what? A spade is a spade, a circle is a circle. You know, we know what the situation was. He came out and apologized. Fair play to him, because it's been explained to him. What we want, me and Lambs are saying, is that that's fine. I'm my United fan.
Normalization of words like this, because understand what, like, you're a parent. How many parents are there in the world? And
Exactly.
I read a statistic the other day that basically said, I think about 2030 or maybe it's 2050 or something. I think over 70% of the world's population will have like some black in them, basically. So nobody will be like fully one race anymore.
Yeah.
And they'll have, at least, like, they'll be like partly black, if not like 3/4 or all the way black. Do you know what I mean? So because people are becoming, they're mixing more, becoming more diverse, and that's what we love to see. Because each time when I see like interracial relationships and stuff like that, I'm always like, yes, 1-0 to the liberalists, and like, you know, and nil point to the supremacists and the racists. They lose. Do you know what I mean? But it's the fact that, do you want to be growing up in a world where, you know, your children, like your black or your half black children, are gonna come home from school, be like, Mum, Dad, this person called me the N-word today. This boy in my class, this girl said, like, and you're like you don't want to be having those conversations with your children. Like, nobody wants, like, we want to eradicate this. You want it in the future, so you can be like, oh, you know, come home from school, Mum, Dad, you know, oh, I was in the most diverse group today for like a presentation, and we had so much. I learned about this person's country and this person's country, and I'm really excited. Oh, can we go visit this country in the summer holidays or something? Like, this is the conversation, this is the message, this is the narrative that we should be aiming to push, to be honest.
And you know what? I'm so glad you used that reference analogy with the summer holidays, because we as Brits, okay, let's say Brits will come under the one umbrella here, okay?
Yeah.
Because that's a touchy subject for some people. Do you know, it's funny, isn't it? We're so happy to go to other people's countries, to happy to visit, to get tanned up, to eat their food, to go on a jolly, as they say, and so on. And it could be family holidays, so on. But you know, like, you know, when I go on a family holiday with my wife and our son, you know, we try and do something within their culture, eat their food, or, you know, learn something. And I just think to myself, why is it when they come here, we're happy to tell them how different they are, but we're not happy to help them? I never understand.
Embrace their differences. Like,
yes.
Oh, that is a beautiful dress. I've never seen anything like that here. Can you teach me how to make it? Or can you tell me where I can possibly go to get a similar dress or something like that? Or, I love that dance. Can you teach me the steps? Do you know what I mean?
Exactly. And look, let's come to our final one. I believe it was Pepe and is it Alioski or Aloski?
Alioski, yeah.
Alioski. So I'm gonna let you run with this one because, well, actually, yeah, please run with this one, Lambs. Take over. Like, go ahead.
Okay, so most people are aware, and because I think even Match of the Day put up a little statement, both the clubs, Leeds and Arsenal, put up a statement basically saying that after the sending off, the clash that resulted in Nicolas Pepe getting a red card for headbutting Alioski, and even the heated little confrontation that Alioski had with Kieran Tierney after the game, obviously regarding that sending off and how he felt like he was exaggerating. But it is the rules are the rules. It was a red card, so that's the end of that. But what transpired afterwards was the racist abuse that not only Nicolas Pepe was getting, but Alioski was getting. And we also need to remember that this country has a huge problem in targeting even white players, but not British players.
Speak on it, Ram. Speak on it.
So if you're not white British, then you are under the microscope.
You are below them. That's what they see you as, isn't it?
Exactly. And when you think about the country he's from, we know Britain has a big issue in how they're always talking about these immigrants coming to take their jobs and so on and so forth, especially people from like Eastern European countries as well, which is where he's from, Alioski. So what they published was that, okay, there was some incidents on social media where both players were receiving vile racist abuse. The police were involved, authorities were involved, and the clubs were involved, and they were all working together on an investigation to track down who's responsible and make sure, they get punished accordingly. And the reason why police and authorities are involved in stuff like this recently is because it is a hate crime. To racially abuse somebody, it is a hate crime. It is a hate crime. And this is why, bringing back to that whole Anton John Terry incident, and why I feel I really, really feel so bad for Anton Ferdinand, because he's the victim of a hate crime.
Yes.
Of a hate crime. And the perpetrator got away with it. So essentially, my question was, this incident happened over the weekend. Saturday was the game, was it? Yeah, so it was a Saturday evening kickoff. And it ended up in a 0-0 result. Oh, no, wait, this was...
No, it wasn't last week before, 2 weeks ago.
It was the week before, yeah. Oh, my God, so 2 weeks ago. It was
when they drew 0-0, yeah.
Because they lost this weekend, didn't they? Haha.
Circus of a club. Anyway, but no, seriously. And do you know what? This is the thing. I saw it.
And my point is, have you had anything published about who these culprits are? Have they been caught? Have they been punished? Does anybody know who they are?
So what do you think about this, Lambs? If you're going to go on Twitter, you need to verify yourself. What's your thoughts on that?
100%. Too many of these fake accounts. Too many people who know how to hide their IP addresses and stuff. But if you go through the verification process, you can hide your IP address all you want. All your information is there. They can still find you. They can still track you down. So I agree with that, to be honest. And if you're not willing to go through that process, that means you've got something to hide, or you're planning on using this platform for just dirt, filth,
exactly,
behavior.
Yeah, and for me, it's just that, you need to, when you leave the country, you need to take your passport so they know who you are, right? And to also show that, when you go, you're always told, enjoy your stay, have a lovely time, yeah? And it's so welcoming. And for me, it's like, okay, so if you want to use Twitter or Instagram, let's be honest, because Instagram, you get loads of trolls on that. Any social media, I think you should be verified. I think you should give details. Okay, people will say, oh, I'm gonna get hacked, blah blah. Listen, people that shop at Boohoo, ASOS, flipping online shopping, don't give me it, please. Argos, blah blah, and so on. Listen, if you're happy to put your details on when you're paying for those apps on your phone or online on your laptop or your PC or your computer or tablet, I'm sure you'll be just okay to do that for Twitter, social media. Because if you know you're not going to use it to troll, you've got nothing to worry about.
Even if you think about it, do you remember the racist abuse that got so the racist comments that got exposed after Sainsbury's after their Christmas?
Oh my goodness! Oh, speak on it! Oh my God!
Twitter, right? And there was so many as well. There was so many. I was actually shocked at the audacity, the bravery that these people had, thinking, I can write this and say this and it's going to be okay. Like, they're not going to find me, or I'm not going to get punished for it, even if they do find me.
Exactly.
That's what's really worrying. The fact that they can write these things with their chest and know that the authorities aren't going to care to track them down and punish them for it because it doesn't affect them. Or they're probably sitting there thinking, yeah, I partly agree with this. If I wasn't a police officer or this, that, and the other, I'd probably post it on Twitter.
But there you go. And oh my God, like, for me, it's like, see, when I saw that with the Sainsbury, and I literally said to one of my boys, I was like, the Aldi advert is a family of carrots. What is going on? And I always say to myself, do they really hate black people that much? Thanks for your comment, Connor. I'll read it out. There's no doubt there probably was Leeds fans sending abuse towards Pepe, but I mostly saw the abuse towards Pepe coming from the Arsenal fans on Twitter. Listen, you know what, Connor? I hear that, 100%. I hear that. But you know what? The worst thing about that is that he's still getting abused regardless. For getting sent off, let's be honest here.
I think it's even worse when it comes from your own fans, to be honest. Because it's just like, wow, if your own fans can turn on you so quickly and start racially abusing you because you made, okay, fair enough, it was a stupid mistake,
Lambs,
but
he got sent
everybody
off.
makes stupid mistakes.
I'm not having it. I'm not having it, Lambs. He got a red card.
Yeah.
Shut him up. You know what I mean? He got a red card. He didn't stab someone. Yeah, he didn't rob. He didn't rob anyone. He got a red card because he tried to be tough. He tried to tickle someone.
How many players have been sent off in their career?
Get out of here, man. Get out of here. So that's why you're calling my man a black? No. I'm not having that.
Not okay. That's what I'm saying.
And like, what? Because you got a red card. How many players playing football get red cards? Are you dumb? Like what? Because
red card, was he not like the man of the match in their next Europa League game as well?
Exactly. But yeah, you can call him this. Nah. And why are you why do you know what? Yeah, listen. If you have a problem with a player, call him rubbish, call him useless, call him any adjective or any noun you can. But why are you getting personal?
Say for that game. So, for example, specifically this game against Leeds, I was disappointed. I was disgusted with the manner in which he played. It was poor by his standards. I expected better. So you can criticize, you can tell the truth, but 100%. There's no need to get personal or start using derogatory hate
comments.
There's no reason.
Listen. Anyway, on that note, guys. That was a very passionate. Me and Lambs ain't rapped like that for a while now, so it was good.
Honestly, like my headscarf fell off. Like, that's how intense it got.
Shout out Football United TV. People need to listen to James Baldwin a lot more. Shout out Matt, man. Shout out Matt. Listen, Lambs. Thank you for that. For a bit of church, taking us back with the preaching and the energy. Just want to say, very proud of your recent achievements, and you're going to do so much more. 2021's coming. Watch the space, guy. This girl's going to be everywhere, and I get to actually work with her, which is not that bad. So
I'm this guy too.
Hey. So, guys, obviously, look. This time next week there'll be another episode of Don't Piss Me Off. Listen, if you have any suggestions or any topics you want us to talk about, write in the comments, tweet us, Instagram, Lamb, give out your socials so when people know where they can reach you.
So I'm on Instagram at Lamia Elmwood. My name is in the handle. So yeah, follow me, message me. I do get a lot of messages, but I do try and respond to most of them. So exactly. I will get around to responding eventually.
Brilliant. And yeah, so what? It's your boy, Bits and Bobs, with another episode of Don't Piss Me Off with my co-host, Lambs. Guys, thank you so much for watching. Appreciate the people that locked in and commented as well. Much love to you all. Guys, I'm actually going to be doing another live in about 5 minutes called the Ops. Yeah, so please like and subscribe. Yeah, I never say that during the show. I need to start doing that. Like, subscribe, and share. Okay.
Doesn't even care about promoting his own channel, guys.
Exactly, right? What the hell? Anyway, guys, peace, love to you all. Oh, look, Lambs, before we go, look at that. Prime.
In the new year? 2021?
Coming to 2021 to you guys soon on Twitter. Yeah.
Like, give me a moment to fix my hair before I jump onto our Chelsea stream, Prime.
All right, guys, big up. I'm about to go live in literally 3-4 minutes with some guests. It's going to be the debate. I said debate. It's going to be about, it's going to be a debate about the top 10 centre-backs in the Premier League. And I'm going to have a few guests, so I'm going to call it the Ops because they're on Op territory and I'm speaking to Ops. Yo, Prime's coming for you, Lambs. Look at that. Check that out. Look what he says. I'll hold you there. All right, guys. Peace and love to you, and I'll see you soon, guys.